Even though Roman is a billionaire, he's not exactly a generous guy. Basically, if he doesn't think a cost is necessary, he won't spend a dime. Take Keon and his 4 guys, for example. He saw them as useless now. A bodyguard with a busted arm can't even open a car door. What good were they to him? Their salaries were ridiculously high. Keeping them on the payroll would be like running a charity and paying for their retirement. So he needed to get rid of them as soon as possible. The farther they went, the better. Honestly, Roman didn't even want to pay the $500,000 severance. So in his mind, he was being incredibly generous. But Keon definitely didn't see it that way. He was a broken man now. They got hurt this badly because of the Wells family. And now, the Wells family was just casting them aside? This was his life they were ruining. Thinking about it, Keon was filled with resentment. But he didn't dare do anything to Roman. The Wells family was just too powerful. Even with his team out of commission, they could have dozens of new bodyguards here in the blink of an eye. He was a broken man now. If he tried to stand up to the Wells family, what would happen? They'd just have him killed. Keon felt the despair so deep, he couldn't even cry. Why couldn't he see it before? That Roman was a total monster. He'd kick a man while he was down and not think twice about it. A real heartless beast. Just then, the door to the presidential suite swung open. A staff member had used a master keycard to unlock it. Then Isaac strode in, his face cold, followed by dozens of his personal bodyguards. Roman hadn't expected the door to open so suddenly. He was stunned to see Isaac walk in slowly, his expression a mix of pure rage and cold indifference. Trailing behind him was the manager Keon had beaten up earlier, along with dozens of imposing bodyguards in suits. Seeing Isaac's sudden arrival, Roman felt confused but knew better than to be rude. He quickly masked his anger with a smile. "Isaac, what are you doing here?" To his surprise, Isaac spoke with a cold, annoyed, furious voice. "Roman, you've got a lot of nerve. Do you have any idea that the Oris Grand is owned by the Wade family?" Roman's face froze. He couldn't help but wonder, what's gotten into Isaac? Just a little while ago they were laughing and talking together. Why the sudden 180? He was acting like a completely different person, treating him like dirt. But no matter how upset he was, he knew he couldn't afford to offend Isaac. So Roman quickly adopted a respectful tone. "Mr. Isaac, of course I know the Oris Grand is a Wade family property. To be honest, my admiration for the Wade family runs deep, and I was hoping that through you I might get acquainted with them. I would be honored to serve the Wade family in the future." Isaac just looked at Roman, then raised his hand and slapped him hard across the face before kicking him to the ground. Roman screamed and collapsed on the ground, his heart pounding with panic. Bradley, who was right next to him, automatically shot back, "Hey, why'd you hit my dad?" Isaac strode over and punched him square in the nose. Blood gushed everywhere as Isaac yelled, "Your dad knows to show me respect. Who the hell do you think you are? You dare talk to me like that? You got a death wish? Believe me, I could kill you right now. You're asking for it." Bradley had gone his whole life without anyone laying a hand on him, and now he'd been hit twice in one day. First, Charlie had broken one of his hands, and now Isaac had just smashed his nose with a punch. He'd been spoiled and arrogant his entire life. How could he stand for this kind of disrespect? So he roared in fury. "You think you're hot stuff just 'cause you're some dog for the Wade family? The Wells family is too powerful. We could have you gone in a heartbeat." The words were barely out of Bradley's mouth when Roman scrambled over and slapped him hard across the face. He cursed furiously. "You idiot! How dare you talk to Mr. Isaac like that? Get on your knees and apologize to him right now. Admit you were wrong." Roman was horrified by his son's outburst. He couldn't believe Bradley was so clueless that he couldn't read the room. Even if Isaac was just a lackey for the Wade family, the Wades were still standing behind him. And the Wade family, they were in a whole other league, one of the top 3 families in the entire country. Financially, the Wells family probably wasn't even 1/10 of the Wade family's worth. The Wade family was a $1 trillion powerhouse, and whether that meant 1 trillion or 9 trillion, nobody really knew. After all, a powerhouse like the Wade family was completely beyond the understanding of regular people. When it came to power and status, the Wade family dwarfed the Wells family completely. That's why, even if Isaac killed both of them right there, the Wells family wouldn't dare say a word. Even his own father, Mr. Orville, would probably skip his funeral and go straight to Eastcliff to beg the Wade family for forgiveness. And Bradley had the nerve to yell at Isaac? Wasn't that just asking to be killed? After that slap, Bradley realized he had caused a huge problem. Without a second thought, he dropped to his knees in front of Isaac, bowing and scraping, begging for mercy. "I'm so sorry, President Isaac. I was impulsive. I screwed up." After he spoke, he started slapping himself across the face over and over. Isaac walked over and kicked him hard in the chest. After knocking him to the ground, Isaac planted his foot on Bradley's face and said, "Listen up, kid. You've offended the Wade family. Believe it or not, I could wipe your Wells family off the map." Bradley's face was already swollen, and now with Isaac's foot on it, he could barely speak. But he managed to choke out, "Isaac, I was wrong. I really was. You can beat me. You can yell at me. Just please, please don't punish my family for my mistake." Seeing his son being beaten like this, Roman was heartbroken and couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Isaac, I have nothing but the utmost respect for you. If we've done something to upset you, please just tell me. If someone from the Wells family really did something wrong, I'm willing to accept the consequences, but you have to tell me what happened." Isaac sneered and said, "Your utmost respect? Is that why you let those idiot bodyguards from the Wells family storm into my Oris Grand lobby? In my lobby, they hurt my people. So if this is you being respectful, what would you do if you weren't? Declare war on me?" Roman felt like he'd been struck by lightning. What? His bodyguard actually beat Isaac's men in the lobby of the Oris Grand? Which one of these blind fools did this? Thinking this, Roman's icy gaze landed on Keon and the other bodyguards. He didn't need to ask. He knew it had to be one of those five who caused this disaster. Roman was furious. He stared down at the five men kneeling on the ground and asked coldly, "Who did this? Or was it all five of you?" Feeling the murderous look in Roman's eyes, Keon trembled. He quickly explained, "Mr. Wells, it's not our fault. We told the security guard and the lobby manager that we work for the Wells family, but they insisted we were being disorderly and wouldn't let us in. I was in a hurry to report back to you, so we forced our way into the hotel and ended up fighting with them." Hearing this, Roman's anger boiled over. He slapped Keon across the face and yelled, "You're a bunch of useless idiots! Do you think you can just force your way into the Oris Grand? You were supposed to report back to me. Is this what you call reporting back? I give you one simple task and you can't even handle it without causing me this huge mess. What good are any of you?" As he spoke, he immediately turned to Isaac and said, "Mr. Isaac, these five worthless fools caused trouble for you. They acted with total disregard for you and your hotel." In reality, Roman was just hoping Isaac would drag these five men away and have them killed. They were useless to him, and keeping them around was just a waste of his money. Isaac saw right through Roman's ploy. He said coldly, "Roman, you're the boss, right? Instead of standing by your men, you throw them under the bus the second there's trouble. The Wells family really stoops low, don't you? If word gets out about this, how is the Wells family supposed to maintain its reputation?" Roman was stunned. What was Isaac getting at? He had already served up the five guys who caused the problem. Why was Isaac still holding this against him? But he didn't dare yell at Isaac. Swallowing his rage, he walked right up to Isaac and apologized. "Mr. Isaac, this is my fault. I am truly sorry." He then added, "To show you how sorry I am, I'm willing to pay $10 million for the medical bills and emotional distress of your injured staff. I hope you can find it in you to forgive the Wells family for this mistake. What do you say?" In Roman's mind, even though Isaac was the Wade family's man in Orris Hill, he, Roman, was the heir to the powerful Wells family. He had offered $10 million as compensation. Surely the other man wouldn't let a small thing like this cause a major conflict with the Wells family, right? Unexpectedly, Isaac's expression remained ice cold. He shot back. "Do you really think the great Wade family of Eastcliff cares about $10 million? Let's use your logic. What if I had my men beat you and your son to a pulp right now, and then sent 20 million to your father. Would that make us even? Would you agree to that? The moment Isaac spoke, Roman's face turned pale. He never expected Isaac to be so unyielding. A few of his brainless thugs had just roughed up a lobby manager in some small hotel. What was the big deal? On top of that, the other guy wasn't even badly hurt. Was Isaac really going to make a federal case out of this? With Isaac's tough attitude, if this had been anyone else, Roman would have had him broken into little pieces. He was the heir to the prestigious Wells family, a big shot in all of Orris Hill. When had he ever been forced to put up with this kind of disrespect? But even so, he didn't dare to offend Isaac. After all, Isaac was the Wade family's representative in Orris Hill. As the heir to the Wells family, any conflict with Isaac meant the Wells family was directly challenging the authority of the Wade family. That kind of move would bring a world of trouble down on his entire family. If the Wade family from Eastcliff decided to hold them accountable, the Wells family would be plunged into a disaster from which they could never recover. So, he had no choice but to swallow his anger and stop himself from lashing out. He knew what was at stake. Forcing a smile, he said, "Mr. Isaac, I misspoke. I sincerely apologize. I hope you won't hold it against me." After speaking, he put on a fawning look and said, "Mr. Watson, how do you want to handle this today? Just tell us what to do, and Barnes will do whatever it takes to make it right." Isaac sneered to himself. This second-generation heir of the Wells family really knew how to suck up when he had to. Of course he did. But today, they had provoked his own young master, Charlie. There was no way Isaac was letting them off the hook. If it weren't for Charlie's orders, Isaac would have had them taken out right then and there. He snorted and said coldly, "Sorry, but I don't accept your apology. And neither does the Eastcliff Wade family." Roman swallowed his anger and asked in a low voice, "Mr. Isaac, how do you want to resolve this?" Isaac said coldly, "Your 5 men injured one of my guys, so they'll pay with their own legs. I want the legs of all 5 of them broken." As soon as he heard this, Roman said without a moment's hesitation, "No problem. Since Mr. Isaac has given the word, the legs of these 5 men are yours to do with as you please." When Keon heard this, he completely broke down and screamed, "Roman, you can't do this! The 5 of us have already had our arms broken. If our legs are broken too, how is that any different from being the living dead?" Roman shot back coldly, "Darn it, your arms got broken because you weren't good enough, and your legs are getting broken because you pissed off Mr. Isaac. This is all your fault. You deserve it." "You!" Keon roared with fury. "Roman, you two-faced snake. If I had known what a coward you were, I, Keon, would have ripped your head off myself." Roman was furious and said to Isaac, "Mr. Craven, you see? For a piece of trash like this, just breaking his legs is a mercy. People like him should just be killed." Isaac smiled playfully and said, "They were dead men walking to begin with. But then, I saw the artistic penmanship carved on their foreheads. I feel like the 5 of them have to live good, long lives to be worthy of the masterpieces on their heads." Roman's face suddenly turned ugly. The foreheads of these 5 men were all carved with words insulting the Wells family. And Isaac had the nerve to call that carving a work of art. Wasn't that a direct insult to the Wells family? But he didn't dare challenge Isaac, so all he could do was force a laugh and say, "Well, since you think they should live, Mr. Isaac, then please, break their legs and turn them into useless cripples forever." Isaac nodded with a playful smile and said to his men, "Go on, break the legs of these 5 men for me." Roman let out a sigh of relief. It seemed Isaac's anger had finally cooled down. But a second later, he felt that familiar sense of dread creep back in. Something was wrong. Isaac just said to break the legs of these 5 dogs first. Why did he say first? Does that mean there's more to come? Before Roman could figure out what Isaac meant, Isaac's men were already on the move. His guys were top-tier fighters, but when it came to sheer strength, no one could really top Keon. But now, Keon was basically useless. He might be able to handle a regular person, but going up against these professionals was a complete waste of time. So when faced with Isaac's men, he didn't even have a chance to fight back. Charlie had already decided his fate. Keon's heart filled with absolute despair. He never dreamed he would end up like this. Just then, Isaac's men walked up to Keon and the others, starting with Keon himself. The leader spoke coldly to his men. "Hold his legs down for me." A few of the men immediately stepped forward and pinned Keon's legs to the ground. Then, the man pulled a viper strike made of pure steel from his jacket, slipped it onto his hand, and slammed it down on Keon's right knee. The entire knee was instantly shattered. Keon screamed, feeling a piercing pain as he started to wail. But they were only halfway done. The man then struck his other knee, and with a sickening crack, it shattered too. After that, the man went on to break the legs of all 5 bodyguards. Wails of agony filled the living room of the presidential suite. Roman's expression didn't change at all. He couldn't wait to see these 5 men dead. So he didn't care one bit about what was happening to them. All he cared about was whether Isaac was satisfied. If this wasn't enough, what else could he possibly want? He turned to Isaac and asked, "Mr. Isaac, with all this, are you still not satisfied?" Isaac replied coldly, "Of course I'm not satisfied." Roman trembled and quickly asked, "Mr. Isaac, what will it take to satisfy you?" Isaac stared at him, his eyes cold. "It's simple. I want a leg from you and one from your son." "What?" Roman looked stunned and blurted out, "Mr. Isaac, you can't be serious, right? Are you kidding me?" Isaac squinted. "Do I look like I'm joking?" Roman stumbled back in fear, panicking. "My guys had a small conflict. It was just a misunderstanding. Why are you taking it so seriously?" He lowered his head, his tone suddenly humble. "Look, if my family has done something wrong, just tell me. We'll do whatever it takes to make it right. You don't need to drag this out. It's just going to ruin the good relationship between our families, don't you think?" Isaac said coldly, "Your Wells family thinks it's worthy of talking about peace with the Wade family? What a joke." Then Isaac shouted sternly, "If you want to live, you'll give me a leg. Otherwise, nobody can save you today." Roman trembled in shock. Isaac was serious. He actually wanted his leg, right now? What a joke. He was the eldest son of the Wells family, the heir to the entire Wells fortune. In all of Orris Hill, he was second to almost no one. The only person with more power was his own father. The Wells family ran this town. They were always the ones pushing people around. When had anyone ever dared to push back against them? This Isaac guy had stormed in and beaten him and his son, but for the sake of the Wade family's reputation, he had been willing to endure it. But now he was actually demanding to break his leg, and his son's leg? How could he possibly accept that? If word got out about this, wouldn't the Wells family be totally disgraced? Thinking about it, he mustered up his courage and yelled, "Isaac, don't push it. You think you're actually a member of the Wade family? You just work for them. Who gave you the nerve to go up against my family, the Wells family?" Even if the Wells family isn't as powerful as the Wade family, we're still very powerful. I refuse to believe the Wade family would just let you get away with this. Isaac smiled playfully. "You want to know who gave me the courage?" "I'm sorry to say, it was Mr. Wade. Normally he was just a representative for the Wade family, and he wouldn't dare to go head-to-head with the Wells family on their behalf, much less break the legs of a Wells family father and son. However, today's decision wasn't one he made on his own. It came from his young master. If his young master said he wanted the Wells family father and son dead, Isaac would do it in a heartbeat, and the Wade family would have his back, no questions asked. Therefore, Isaac had no hesitation whatsoever. Roman and his son were completely floored. Was Mr. Wade really coming after them? But when had they ever crossed Mr. Wade? He didn't even know Mr. Wade. At that moment, even on their deathbeds, they never would have believed that Charlie, that good-for-nothing son-in-law everyone in Orris Hill knew about, was actually the young master of the Wade family. Roman panicked and said, "Mr. Isaac, there must be some kind of misunderstanding, right? When did we ever offend Mr. Wade?" Isaac couldn't be bothered to explain. He sneered and barked at the men around him. "First, break the young one's legs, then break the old one's." The second he finished speaking, the men in black lunged for Bradley. Bradley was terrified. Pinned to the ground by the men in black, he screamed, "Dad, hurry and help me! Dad, help me!" Roman was trembling so hard his teeth chattered. He'd thought the Oris Grand was the safest place in town, but he never expected it to be a real wolf's den. This Isaac was acting so boldly because he had the Wade family backing him. What could he possibly do now? Beg for mercy? Isaac wouldn't buy it. Flaunt his identity? Isaac couldn't care less. Fight back? Was there anyone left to help him? As he thought about it, all hope drained from him. He knew he couldn't save his son. He couldn't even save himself now. Just then, the man wearing the viper-striped knuckles brought his fist down hard. A sickening crack echoed through the room, and Bradley howled like a pig at a slaughterhouse. His right leg was useless. Both his right hand and right leg were completely shattered. The damage to his leg was too severe. There was no chance of it ever healing properly. From now on, he, the distinguished eldest son of the Wells family, would be nothing more than a cripple, a joke for everyone to mock. Bradley broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. How could this be? Why was this happening? What kind of place was Orris Hill? It felt like this small city was crawling with vicious demons, ready to tear you apart. Roman's heart shattered. He loved his eldest son more than anything. After all, Bradley was supposed to inherit his legacy, the one he had poured everything into training. And now, in the blink of an eye, he was disabled. And his other son was still that monster. Why was his life so damn miserable? Just then, Isaac pointed a finger at Roman, who was seething with rage. He looked at the heavy hitter and said,